Congratulations on Angie's Cure. It's an amazing watch. It's so surprising. What made you guys want to tell this story?
Oh man, thank you. You want to start?
No, you go ahead. You
All
got
right. Well, the story actually, it's a twofold part of what made us want to tell it. It actually came from an article that Corey read a long time ago about the true story of a woman who held someone captive, a burglar captive in a beauty salon, and that story took a turn for the worse. You want to expand on that?
Well, it was crazy. She tied a guy up and fed him a bunch of Viagra's, and she violated him for a course of some days. It was a real crazy, wild story. And so I told this story to a friend of mine named Brian Kelsey, who's a writer who we collaborated with before, and said we should do something similar. And he came up with a story, Angie's Cure. And we liked the story, but it was a little bit more camp, a little bit more
Right.
revenge thriller. There wasn't like a rape aspect to it. There was not a social uh, justice elements in it. There's a lot of different. So the net and I took it, and then we did another pass on it to make it more personal to
Yeah.
us. And
Yeah, we decided what we really wanted to say. So we knew we had a framework, but then we had to decide, well, with this framework, with this exciting concept, what can we actually layer in here? What's the story that we can tell? What's the journey that we can go on? And then as we began to write it, we realized that it was a lot of different full circle journeys that we could address, within our community, with what a lot of women go through, not even just women, but men in the community as well, with the code of silence that happens after, trauma or after rape. And then even coming full circle with moms who act more like sisters and, certain officers who see things in black and white without any gray. So there just became a larger story as we were figuring out exactly what we wanted to do with the moment while we had the moment.
Definitely. And with so much going on in the film, how do you keep things from kind of fading into the background? Everything seems so prominent, and there's such a great arc to every single story. How do you keep that, in the forefront instead of letting it sink to the back?
it's so funny because like when you have people's attentions, when you do these movies, like, what are you trying to say? And a lot of times you want to have pertinent things to say, but you also have to entertain. And I really think that the subject matter, the way each actor approached the material, highlighted their own particular storyline to the forefront. So one didn't get so much overshadowed by the other. They were kind of on equal grounds throughout. Because you would normally think that it's all about Angie,
Right.
but it's not just Angie. It's about JD, your character. It's about the police officers. It's her mother.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole trifecta of people that go through things. And a lot of times people look at people by the things that they do, but a lot of times you don't know why they do what they do.
Or what led up to it.
What led up to
Yeah.
that. Everybody has some type of a story, some type of situation, whether it be cops, guys on the street, or ladies, what have you. Everybody has a story as to how they became who they are. So we wanted to make sure that we gave equal justice to everybody in terms of telling their stories and kind of, peeling back the layers a little bit as to what makes people tick.
And then one thing about when you said making sure things don't fade into the background, so much of that is accredited to our amazing team. There's moments that we want you to lean in, and so the music does that. Our composer, our music supervisor, our colorist, like so all those different things where you need a little extra oomph to get the point across. When you lean into things like that are subliminal, that's a huge part of how we were able to keep focus, and keep the attention and direct it kind of where we wanted the viewers to stay on, to stay on track with us.
Definitely. And with Angie, her story, we get so captivated by her right off the bat with her struggles with her mom and the mom's boyfriend, with her father situation, with the situation that happens at the beginning. Like, it all hits you so hard right off the bat, very quickly. Why did you want to do such an impactful beginning, and how did you come up with this story that makes you, so interested in Angie?
Well, in the original script, the whole beginning at the party and the flash, that wasn't there.
Yeah.
That was something that we brought in new because one thing we wanted to do was we wanted to grab the audience and suck them in to this world, and then smack them on the head to get their attention. And if we hit them big and smack them on the head, then they'll stay along for the ride as it gets a little bit more deeper, more quieter as the story goes along. So that was kind of how we came up. The reason why we opened it up the way we did, because you don't expect the story. And I'm the director, so I can say that, but as you would know, you didn't expect the story you got after seeing how it opens up. Am I correct?
Definitely not. And I really like the full circle with our quote unquote villain in the story. I really
Mhm.
did not expect his story. It it came out, I was shocked. Like, it made me more captivated to not just her story but his story as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Shout out
let's
to
talk a
Sean
little bit about
Nelson.
that.
Yeah, Sean Nelson, you know him from Fresh, The Wood, long time actor.
Yeah.
And he came in and he really added some humanity to that story.
Yeah.
And I can't see anybody other than him playing the role the
I
way he did. He
could
just,
not have had a better
yeah,
scene
yeah,
partner than
yeah.
and Sean in that moment. So it was such a short, shoot. So we were able to find those moments to, all of us together. And when I say all of us, I mean the director, Sean, the cinematographer, Eduardo Ramirez Gonzalez, his crew. It was such a dance of the lighting and the quiet moments, and just finding that together as a unit was really special because we were all in tune,
Hmm.
the entire process.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Let's talk a little bit about that humanizing the villain, because that is an element that not many movies take on because it's so difficult to do. But
Yeah.
even he has his own circumstances, and I think that is something, as an audience member, I really appreciate it. Let's talk little bit about that. Why you decided to go that route?
Well, one thing is like I grew up around a lot of crazy elements, a lot of my friends or whatever, and a lot of times the way I went and the way some of my other friends went was based off of how we were raised, our circumstances, but they're still my friends. You
Yeah,
follow? And some people circumstances send them down a certain path. And if you don't know that particular person, you may think that they're a thug or a criminal, whatever the case may be, because you're looking at that exterior and what
Right.
you see on the surface. But me, I would look at that person or that as a friend because I know his whole story. I know who he is. And what we wanted to do was take a stereotype that people may buy into and look behind it to see the humanity behind that and why certain people do things what they do, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And I thought that was important to show the humanity behind people because a lot of times we fall into what we see on the outside, but we're unable to get the time to know what's behind those eyes, behind that particular person. So that's why we approached that character, and that was something very personal to me that I wanted to add into it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that sometimes people live up to the expectations that the community places on them, and it doesn't have to be that way. And so I think it's important that people see, as Corey was saying, especially with males, especially with men of color, just the things that they're up against, the struggle in the community to decide to be better, to be different, and what those pulls can be in certain communities based on just, where you are. And then just showing, look, some people do choose option A and some choose option B. And so, but either way, here's the story behind that, And so the word was humanizing, and I'm glad that that's
Yeah.
what we were able to accomplish with that character.
definitely. And I grew up in Southeast LA. I've been to Crenshaw. I know people from Crenshaw. I know some people that are much like these characters. For me, it seemed very personal watching this film. How was it for you guys watching making this film? Was it very personal as well?
Deeply personal
You know,
making this film.
it was funny, being a man directing this movie, and then, I got the material we were writing. I knew it was very serious, and we're all into it. But when it came to us actually filming the rape scene, with the actors and our actress Mariah, who played the young Angie, and Torian, who played Sway.
Sway. Mm-hmm.
We're in the room and we're about to shoot it, and I'm having the director and blocker how to move, and it really hit me how heavy this scene was with somebody being raped, and I don't think we got it until we actually were filming it. And actually, our actors, they were very uncomfortable at first. It was just a very uncomfortable feeling, and I think at that particular point, we really got the gravity
Yeah.
as men as to what was happening. And so,
And he's referring to like the male actors in that
yeah,
scene
mm-hmm,
that were the perpetrators. Just
perpetrators.
very uncomfortable for them, just even thinking,
Just thinking about
yeah.
it. And so after we were doing the scene, we had a lot of, you see, we had a lot of great background actors. So there were these two girls that were in the scene, that were in the background, and they finally understood what the movie was about.
Yeah.
And once they found that out and seeing where we were filming, they felt compelled to tell their stories about what happened to them, which they had never shared before.
Wow.
So then the subject matter became bigger than the film itself, and then it really connected us to what we were doing. And for the rest of the shoot, we
Yeah.
were affected.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a personal story for a lot of people, even if it hadn't happened to them specifically. All of us knew a character in this story. All of us could point to somebody in this story and say, I know exactly who that is in my life. And so just to have that common thread and that common understanding amongst the crew, the cast, and everybody, it kept us focused and working in the same space. And then we all knew when to be quiet, when to let those moments breathe, because we were experiencing these moments a lot of times, together. So
Yeah.
it was, yeah, it was definitely personal for a lot of us.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on this film. It is fantastic. Even though it's a fictitious story based on true events, it's very honest to the topics that it takes upon. So, thank you very much for this project, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh,
Appreciate it, brother.
thank you, thank you, thank you.